Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. This is Real Estate 411. That's what we're going to stick with because it just seems to work. One of my favorite episodes each week with my dear friend, area leader for Epic Realty, Walt Key. Walt Key is Mr. Hawaiian Vibin and does coaching and business planning. And on top of real estate, like all of us do, he's just got a wide range of things that he does and impacts our real estate community in such beautiful and wonderful ways, and I mean that. And so, welcome back, Walt. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's been a good week so far.
Good. Well, tell us, for people who are tuning in for the first time, who are you? Where are you? How do we reach you?
Oh man, just a schmuck in a Hawaiian shirt that likes to help people. The quick highlight reel: top producing agent, real estate coach, published author, team leader, area leader, all that fancy jazz. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy who likes to help people. I do that through real estate. I do that through real estate coaching. I do it any way I can, really. Best place to reach me, go Google Walt Key Realtor and look for the guy in the Hawaiian shirt. You're going to find me. You can also grab my link tree. I put everything there from my contact info to my social platforms to my Eventbrite link where I host my coaching calls. That's really if you want a one-stop shop, the link tree is the easiest way.
Excellent. Well, I want you guys to check it out because Walt does some amazing classes, coaching, workshops, on top of all of the things real estate. And I have been blessed to have been on several of those workshops. And the information is stuff you can actually use right away. You just have to work it and do it. But he lays the plan out for you. And so I encourage you guys to check it out. All right. Well, each week we talk about something. What are we talking about this week?
Well, we'll talk more about real estate business today because we're right on the cusp of 2026, and I think a lot of agents, a lot of lenders, this is the time where people get, I don't want to use the word lazy and offend anybody, but they start kind of checking out. Halloween's right around the corner, and before you know it, it's Thanksgiving, and now we're rolling into Christmas, and then it's New Year's Eve. And so people start, I've actually just heard it today in a meeting full of real estate agents. Someone said, this is the slowest time of the year. And traditionally it is. So that's not a lie, but this is actually a really, really great opportunity for agents who want to grow their business through 2026, want to kind of leapfrog ahead of the competition, so to speak, even though I don't believe there's really competition, but you know what I mean? Now is really the time. Like now is the time to set yourself up for 2026. So we're in that sweet spot where most people are going to start mentally checking out, going into kind of extended vacation mode. And it's a wonderful time to put your plans together, figure out what you're going to do for 2026 and start doing it now so that when January 2026 rolls around and everyone else is kind of waking up from their slumber, you're already out there stacking closings. We'll talk about that. That's this is such a great time of the year. Obviously we're nerds here, so we have to talk a little bit about data first. Can't get away from that. I'm going to keep that super short because we actually don't have a ton of data because we are now in day 14 of the government shutdown. So anything Bureau of Labor Statistics, anything government related data sets, even NASA for that matter. Now I was talking with a guy this weekend because we're nerds. We're tracking the third in our history interstellar comet, 3I Atlas. And so we were talking about how when the government shut down on October 1st, NASA actually has a wonderful, it's called HiRISE, a wonderful camera system that could have taken amazing pictures of this comet as it went by Mars. And the last photo on the public domain for the catalog of those photos was October 1st because they're not publishing anything because they're shut down.
Wow.
And I was like, come on, this is the once in, well, 3 times in a lifetime opportunity. Like the science behind what's happening right now in space is really, really cool. And we can't see the pictures of this comet because NASA is shut down because of the government.
Conspiracy theorists must love.
Oh yeah, they're digging into that one deep. So all that to say, a lot of things are not happening right now. A lot of data sets are not coming together. A lot of the reports, jobs reports, et cetera, those aren't being published right now. So we are in a little bit of a data vacuum, right? We still see some private data. We still see some lower level stuff. Mortgage rates are still looking pretty solid in that 6.3 range, give or take a couple tenths of a percent or hundreds of a percent rather. The couple interesting things that happened last week though, and I don't think anybody's tracking this, but I'll be interested to see what the rest of this week looks like. So the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the world bankers are actually meeting in DC this week. And so last week, the IMF managing director, right? Imagine the International Monetary Fund. You're in charge of that. It's kind of a big position.
Huge.
She said something interesting, because we hear all this doom and gloom on the news, all the economy this and the jobs that, right? Everybody's all woe is me, right? So this is the gal who's at the very, very top of our the International Monetary Fund. She said the economy is doing better than initially feared, and she expects global growth to slow only slightly this year and next, propped up by better than expected conditions in the US and among some other advanced economies and emerging markets. So I just thought that was super interesting, because we see all this, oh, woe is me, the sky is falling, everything's crashing, no business is happening, nobody's selling, nobody's buying. And here we have someone at the very highest level of our monetary system saying it's not as bad as we initially thought it would be, and we do expect global growth to slow down, but only slightly over the next year or two. And honestly, the US is doing much better than we expected, which is why. So that was just super interesting.
You know, it's funny. I think you're right. I think there's doom and gloom. I think people have this feeling that things aren't going well. And so they begin to feed into it, and that kind of information spreads.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
And it's funny. I'm definitely busier. I sense the market activity is busier. But, you know, if you read newspapers or newscasts, listen to them from either side of the fence, no matter where you're at, it's very interesting.
So the news is really interesting. So I hate to be that the media is all bad conspiracy theorist, but the media is all bad. The U.S. media, especially. If you only listen to U.S. televised U.S. talking points, it's all doom and gloom. It's all horrible, where the sky's always falling, because that's what sells. If you get out of that and you start looking at news that's a little bit more independent, they're just trying to present the data and the facts, things like, again, like the IMF director's actual words. You start to see that the rest of the world isn't actually looking at, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, it's all doom and gloom all the time. There's some bright spots out there as well. So that's good to know. And then whether you, as Henry Ford used to say, whether you think you're right or you think you're wrong, you're right. Something like whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. In business, right, we create our own economy. Right. Whether you're a lender or you're a real estate agent, we create our own economy. Business is slow. Okay, go do more prospecting and follow up. Your business will get faster. You'll pick up. Right. Don't just say, well, everyone says business is slow, so it must be slow. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything. And what do you know? It's slow. Well, you didn't do anything. Right. You created a self-fulfilling prophecy because you didn't do anything in response to what you heard. So it's very important not to get into that negative mental loop. There's always business to be done. There are closings happening every single day.
That's right.
There are listings going on the market every single day. There are clients that always need our help.
Agreed.
You have to work a little bit harder sometimes to find them. Sure. But if you're going to work a little bit harder, especially now when everyone else is going to work a little bit less, you're going to be a rock star in a few months, where you've taken the market share from those who got lazy. So
true.
Be mindful of that. Anyway,
it's a great time to get market share.
It takes time.
I feel like all realtors begin, and it's real estate professionals, they used to begin to check out right before Thanksgiving. And then it was right around Halloween. And now I'm almost 100% sure it's October 1st.
Yeah.
We keep going back. It's almost like the whole last quarter. We're like, oh, we're celebrating. And I'm like, but you could be doing so much work here and still have a good time.
Yep.
And not check out and build up your 20.
Exactly. And that last 30 to 90 days of the year, that is your 2026 business.
Correct.
Like it truly is. What you're doing right now and through November and December is actual closings in January 2026. So It's very important. So a couple things I wanted to talk about today. We won't get super long and drawn out, but so I've got 3 coaching calls on the calendar for November. Again, I want to get ahead of the year, give people the knowledge and tools and resources they need. So I've got my business planning for real estate on the calendar for Friday in November. And then following that, we'll be building strategic partnerships, a fantastic strategy that I teach agents and lenders to use. And then after that, we'll be creating a perpetual cycle of business with FSBOs and landlords. And again, lenders, man, you need to get in on that. If people hear FSBOs and they automatically think, oh, that's a realtor thing. If you want to be the busiest lender on the planet, jump into that course and learn how to do active prospecting for yourself and your realtor partners.
Yes.
You will be the most valuable person in your market. I promise.
Tell them the one reason. I mean, I'll tell you why.
Well, from a realtor's perspective, right? And you're a super upfront and honest guy, so I think you'll agree with this. From a realtor's perspective, most lenders, hey, do you have any clients I can help? I have great rates. Do you have a buyer that you need to get qualified? I have great terms. Do you have a buyer? Do you have a buyer? Do you have a buyer? Real estate agents that are busy already have lenders they're working with. They're not going to stop the relationships they have give you a shot.
Yeah.
Just being real.
It's true.
So if your only value proposition is, hey, do you have someone I can help? No, I don't. I'm out here helping people. I'm busy.
But what's the flip side with your system?
Let's turn that around. Let's say you're the lender and you call an agent. Maybe you've never worked with the agent, but you're trying to work with that agent. And you call that agent because they're in your market and you say, hey, Jan, it's Ted. Hey, listen, I have a qualified buyer that I'm working with. They're shopping in this market. And I was wondering if you could help them. I generate my own leads and sometimes I need extra realtor partners to service them. Can I give you a buyer client? I promise you just got their attention.
You absolutely did.
Now let's take that one step further. Let me have this conversation take place. Hey, Jan, it's Ted. Hey, do you have room for one more listing? I've got a seller who is working with me and they said they're willing to list the house, but only to an agent that I refer them to. Do you have room for another listing? Ted, what? Ted who? You're my favorite person, Ted. Who are you?
I know.
And the beautiful thing about this is when you market the seller side of this equation, right? When you're marketing the FSBOs, you're working with the FSBOs. Yes, you are generating listing leads that you can hand to an agent. You'll be a rock star. But in the process, you are generating buyer clients for yourself and your realtor partners that you can then vet, qualify, and go close deals with.
Correct.
But that is not that FSBO and landlord course. It is not just I'm a real estate agent, so I want more listing business. It is a full-on system to generate buyer and seller business for you, your realtor partner, your lender partner. It's so much fun.
I love it.
So those three courses: business planning for real estate, that's realtors or lenders; building strategic partnerships, again, realtors or lenders; and creating a perpetual cycle of business with FSBOs and landlords, regardless of whether you're a realtor or a lender. All three of those are happening on a Friday in November. I'm doing something a little different this time. I've set it up in Eventbrite, so it's donation only, which means the minimum cost to join these coaching calls is $1.
Wow.
Because that's like the minimum that Eventbrite will allow you to do on a donation basis. So you could literally go, I'm going to get my entire business plan built out for me for $1. I'm going to donate $1 and that's it. I don't like to make things free because when you make something free, there's no value and you get a lot of your own time wasted. People sign up in droves and then they never show up, but you had to go update the calendar invite and prep all the documents and send them the reminders, and then they no show. Yep. And just my time is valuable too. So, but I also don't like to charge a ton for my calls because I realize they're valuable, but I want everyone to have access to them.
Yes.
So I was just looking at it. I'm like, I'm going to try this donation.
Great idea.
And if somebody, wants to donate more than $1, fine. They can, whatever they feel like it's worth. But if someone's really tight on money, they're a struggling lender, they're a struggling agent, they're brand new, and they're like, I don't have a ton of money to learn, but I know I need to learn to make a ton of money. Right. Donate $1 and jump in with us and learn something that'll
good
for success.
What a great idea.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've never actually used the donation function, so it's kind of new to me as well.
I've never used it.
So we'll see what happens. Who knows?
Such a great idea because people hear that word and they're much more amenable.
Sure. Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
So
that's all in November.
All in November, yeah. So I'm gonna get and then what I'm trying to get, I haven't locked in the date yet. So the 100K in 100 days challenge that we run to generate $100,000 in new GCI in a 100-day period for agents and lenders. I'm locking in a date. I want to get that launched officially right around the beginning of the year. I want to teach everybody how to set themselves up. And then I want to launch the challenge within the first quarter of the year to really turbocharge the business. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love your classes. If you haven't sat in on his workshop, his coaching, I mean, I know this isn't an advertisement for you, but I can actually speak to it because I have been on them, and they're chock full of information, but not ethereal kind of information up here. Yeah. It's stuff you can actually take and implement now.
Like I tell people all the time, I am not a philosopher. I am not going to throw a bunch of flowery words and ideas at you and then say, go figure something out. I don't teach something I don't do.
Right.
So the business planning, that's how I build my business plan.
Yeah.
The strategic partnerships, that's one of my favorite ways to get listings short of FSBOs. The FSBOs and landlords is modeled after my specific strategy on how I do it. And I have a lot of listing business that comes from FSBOs. It works if you work it. So I'm not teaching platitudes. I'm not teaching flowery words. I'm not teaching concepts that go over people's heads. Yeah. I'm teaching the nuts and bolts of how to execute the plan. And then I give them the tools, the resources, the scripts, whatever they might need for that particular piece so that they can go execute for themselves. That's the whole point to it all.
Let me ask you, as you were talking about the workshops and things, and of course, I know the value of them. I'm sensing realtor fatigue with workshops and anything that doesn't matter if a lender puts it on, a team lead puts it on, a title company puts it on. I'm sensing this, even before this end of the year holiday stuff, I'm sensing this fatigue. Are you seeing that? What's your feeling on that or your thoughts?
Well, I think we're the pendulum is starting to swing the other way. So the last few years, we had so much crazy activity going on that people were just like, oh, I woke up and breathed and did well, so I'm going to teach a course on how to do things. Like, listen, you don't actually know what you did. It was a hot market and you did some stuff, right? So I do think we got a little oversaturated at some point with everybody's a coach, everybody's a real estate guru, everybody has something to sell.
Yes.
And I do think there was a little bit of, we'll call it market saturation for that. And I feel that as well. I think people are like, it's just, FSBOs is a great example, right? Everybody and their brother that has ever talked to a FSBO even once will tell you how to work with FSBOs.
Right.
Generally, what they do is they go to a YouTube channel of some guy from 15 years ago who had a script that worked okay because he worked his butt off with it. Yeah. And then they just kind of regurgitate the same basic premise. And then you go figure it out on your own if you want to. Right. So I definitely think that there's, we'll call it more due diligence on the agents and lenders' parts to really look at a potential coach or a potential course or potential workshop and go, is there really value here? Because I feel like I've heard it all at this point. I've seen it all. I would go on YouTube. Everybody's got something they're saying. So yeah, I kind of see that as well. I agree with you.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because it's the realtor fatigue, but on the flip side, I feel like there's analysis paralysis. And so they're still trying to do the exact same thing and it's not working, but they don't want to try anything new.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on realtors. I just get this feedback from them all the time. Well, Ted, there's so many choices of workshops I can go to. And like you said, I feel like I've already heard it all. I'm like, so, did you implement any of it? Because if you 100%. Didn't.
And one of the things I talk about in the business planning course, and I talk about it a lot. I have this concept called prospecting for your personality type. Because again, there's a lot of ways to grow a real estate business. There are actually legitimately dozens of great ways to do this. What happens for most people is they hear this soundbite and then they see that quick snippet and they saw this gal on TikTok and they watch that 5-minute YouTube video and they're like, it all sounds amazing. I don't know how to do any of it. I don't even know where to start. And then they don't start. And so the prospecting for your personality type, which is actually part of my business plan for real estate in the workbook that I give them, there's a section in there for that. It helps them focus in on a few key active prospecting strategies that best align with their personality type, their communication style, right? Their business philosophy. How do I process information? How do I want to interact with people? And what happens is you take those dozens of things that become like almost like white noise.
Right.
And you go, okay, these are the only few things I'm going to be diligent about. I'm going to put these few things on my calendar every week, a specific hour of the day, a specific day of the week. This is what I'm going to do. Right. And I'm just going to get really disciplined and really consistent executing those few things that I chose for myself because they feel right for me.
Right.
And I learned how to do them correctly. Now I'm just going to start executing.
Yes.
And that helps tremendously to just narrow the scope down for people. So they realize you don't have to learn 16 different things. You're not going to do 16 things. God forbid you try 16 things. You're not going to do anything well. Right. So helping them figure out what makes the most sense for me individually, for me and my business, that empowers them to actually start doing the work consistently because they know why they're doing it. They enjoy doing it. They just get up and they get the grind going.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. It's interesting. So if you guys are on the fence about workshops and stuff, I mean, I absolutely 100% stamp of approval. Want you to register for Walt's. I'm not getting anything back from this. I just mean it from the heart that what he teaches, he practices and preaches and practices it. Yep. And that makes such a difference. There are so many people out there. We were talking about this we've talked about this many times, coaches, especially who go out and say, I'm a coach. And they don't know how to coach. They've never been coached and they don't even understand what industry you're in. They're just an overall coach. And so I think that's where a lot of people go out and they go to a workshop and they think, well, you haven't sold a damn thing in a year. So how are you teaching me how to sell anything? And so I want to encourage you to really check out Walt's link tree, which is scrolling across the bottom there. That's where you can find all of his stuff. And he's got an Eventbrite that you can probably follow as well, which will help you get notified when things. I'm doing your last spiel here, so you finish it up for me. Tell us the best way they can reach you.
No, you got it. Yeah, jump on the link tree. That's everything. I think it's maybe the fourth link down. There's my Facebook group, which everybody can join. It's 35,000 agents learning and collaborating together. I think that's at the top. There's a couple other links in there, and then there's one that says all my coaching calls and events. If you click on that, it takes you straight to our Eventbrite profile. All of the events that are coming up are on the profile. You can follow the profile. So if I update something later, if I add an event, you get a notification that it's there. The link tree is really the easiest way. If you're big on social media, all the social media profiles are on there, so you can follow whatever you like.
All right, my friend, I enjoyed it as always. You guys, if you have questions for us, want something you want us to talk about, if you go and research Walt's classes and coaching and workshops and you have a question, shoot it to me or shoot it to Walt, and we'll obviously answer you right away, but we'll talk about it on next week's show. Again, any topics you want to talk about in the real estate world that impact you, we would love to talk about those. You have questions on the numbers, all the quote unquote nerd stuff that Walt talks about, and you want to learn more, don't feel like you're not smart, because it's a lot, but Walt seems to have a great way of bringing it. I call it not dumbing it down, but tedding it down. You bring it down to Ted's level, which I understand, which is great. So as always, my friend, I appreciate you. Enjoyed it. You all get out. There's tons of business out there. And if you don't feel like you understand how to get it, sign up for one of Walt's classes. Reach out to me. I'll get you to him. All right, brother.
Have a great day, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.